Cut! Well done, everybody. Well done. That's really good. Whoa, hold on. We should film again for the final version.
Horror movies have been popular since the beginning of cinema. You can see that with silent films such as The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and Nosferatu. The whole point of any horror film is to just make the audience feel scared. Whether you've got $100 million for its budget or no budget. The only difference between these films really is that you might never hear about the film that has no budget or that's been made by the independent horror movie director.
These independent movie directors work in the likes of Tesco, they're at university. Take for instance Marc Price, he directed Colin for £45. He took the movie to Cannes and then he got picked up by distribution company Kaleidoscope. So these people can be anybody.
And one afternoon when I first moved to London, I was living with a makeup artist and a group of us got together and got made up as zombies, and I grabbed this random footage which I edited into a movie trailer. And I thought it would be amazing to make a zombie movie, and we just needed to find an original story, and then the idea of telling a story from the zombie's perspective came along, and so we made Colin. And yeah, so then we spent the next 18 months shooting on this camera and editing simultaneously. We recruited friends and coordinated everything through Facebook and MySpace. And yeah, I think through the whole process we would go back and forth and we would make sure, we'd really work through scenes and make sure that they'd work for us as an audience, and then hopefully it would work for a regular audience. So.
Marc is a great example, but there are so many others like him.
I am the writer and director of A Up Me Duck of the Dead, a short horror film.
I decided to get into horror films because, well, into making horror films, because I love watching horror films.
The genre is just fantastic, so I'm really looking forward to start filming at the end of the summer.
I was told I was being too ambitious for Dead Rain, but I've proved them wrong. I finished the film.
We didn't have any money to shoot the movie. I decided not to look for a budget because I figured that we could do everything with what little equipment we had available to us. I mean, that was kind of the reason for making the movie. I kind of resent the idea of someone looking at my script and saying, oh, this isn't like every other horror movie. Change it and make it like those, and then we'll give you money to make it. I kind of resented the idea of someone saying that the script that we'd written wasn't good enough to be a movie.
And we talked about funding, and we thought, well, we actually don't need it. What's the point of going out? And like other people have said, you know, why go through all the red tape to get a few pound that's really not going to make that much of a difference?
You can get, for instance, you can get funding from various people, your local butchers. You can say, we'll put your company logo on the credits at the end of the movie if you give me £100.
But where you would have to be careful on that is if you went to somebody, they might want a certain amount of creative control over your project.
If someone came along knocking and said, look, I've got some money that I want to invest in your film, but I don't like the end, you need to change it, I honestly don't think I could. You know, we've written it a specific way, so I wouldn't feel happy changing it. You know, it's personal to us.
But the question is how to produce a horror movie without money.
Beg, borrow, steal.
You have to really be creative if you're going to make a film without any money. You have to find ways to achieve certain effects on an audience without spending loads of money. So you have to look at what you've got available to you based on the money that you're prepared to spend, and then say, right, here are my options because of that.
The script was adapted so we could actually work around anything that was going to cost a lot of money. We found the scenes, we found the, like I say, a lot of help from the community, so we didn't have to pay for hardly anything.
We managed to make the movie without spending a great deal of money. I think the most we spent was somewhere between 40, 45, maybe £50. But that was only spent on getting like very cheap tea and coffee and biscuits for the people that were coming down only on Sundays. For the rest of the shoot, we just managed to shoot everyone either in the morning or in the afternoon. We were very quick. We didn't take up too much time. It's not like we had people for 12 hours and didn't feed them. We just managed to shoot so quickly that people could do their bits and leave.
I guess the majority of horror movie fans might be able to think about how to create a zombie effectively without much money.
Tissues, glue, maggots, believe it or not, crushed banana.
Things on the internet don't tell you that. They presume that you have 2 hours to do your makeup and you're doing it on one person. When you've got 10 zombies to make in half an hour and you're the only person that knows how to do it and you're trying to show people at the same time, just manage to make everyone function at the same time. Sort of control everyone but control yourself. There's other people in the group which could help, especially my girlfriend Emily. She had the knack of doing makeup which a guy doesn't have, and then she applied that to the zombie makeup.
So yeah, we were talking about makeup, and a lot of the guys that came along brought their own makeup with them, and they actually helped out, you know, doing everybody else's makeup as well. And there was this one guy here, for instance, he'd done all his own makeup. It didn't take him that long because he does it so often, but he also helped out doing everybody else's, and he managed to sort of do 5 or 6 zombies in no time at all.
You've probably seen Steve Best just talking about me a moment ago, and what I'm here to do now is to show you how to make a zombie for a very low budget, essentially, just using stuff that you can pick up from a supermarket. So, showing you how to make fake blood. We've got golden syrup, food colouring, some instant coffee and some instant hot chocolate, and essentially that's all you need really. What I'm doing at the moment, I'm just applying tissue paper with liquid latex. What I will be doing in a moment is ripping it, and then afterwards, once we've applied the colour, it'll look like she's had her neck torn out basically. So if you've only got a limited palette, rather than just going with the basic colours you have, mix them together, and then that way you've got a far wider range of colours to use. Of course, with wounds like that, you can just fill it up with this stuff and then just let it run afterwards. Also, something I'd recommend with the lenses, if you're planning on using them, is make sure you get an optician's appointment. Well, yeah, that's the final article. So we're talking about, what, 2 hours-ish, 2.5? Yeah, I thought it's turned out pretty good, actually.